Coffee with Winfred in conversation with Martha Nakato, community psychologist and public health specialist.
Okay. Some wounds don't need to be silent or distracted. They need to have honest conversations. In the past months, we have been moving across the country under our project, the Power Project, through a mapping exercise. And in many regions, many things stood out. But one of the main things that stood out was emotional and mental distress. But with the visible issues that stood out, there stood out one most times invisible issue that we don't pay attention to: the issue of belonging, the issue of how people silence their powers, their ability, their growth just to belong. And as we listen to people's lived realities, struggles, fears, and hope, many had hope, but through the discussions we had with them, many persons spoke of belonging, something that is eating them up, something that is stressing them up. And we felt that we needed to have a conversation around that. I want to welcome you all, and I want to welcome you, our guest speaker today, on our chat today, Coffee with Winfred, an initiative under our Will Recover project that speaks to mental health, speaks to recovery, healing, care, and becoming. Today, our guest speaker is Nakato Martha, a community psychologist. She has done this work many years, 6 years, and I believe maybe there are some times that are not counted. She has worked with different communities in Uganda and across Uganda. She has worked with many marginalized communities, structurally silenced persons. And we believe, as rights for her, you're bringing a reach into this conversation because of your expertise, because of the different stories, different people you've worked with. You're welcome, Martha.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I have given a brief about you. I believe you can give the audience much more about you so that they can understand more about you.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Greetings to you all, our viewers. I'm privileged to really be part of this conversation, and I feel energized. I feel great to be in this space. I really thank you for cherry picking me, and you're like, no, this conversation really belongs to Martha. And yeah, I really take that so seriously. So yes, I'm a community psychologist and I'm a public health specialist. But today I'll just be enriching my community psychologist bit more. Yeah, and yes, I've worked with very many people. I've worked with very many communities, serving them with psychosocial support, doing mental health awareness and advocacy. Yeah, so I thank you. We can begin the conversation.
Thank you so much. Just to dive into the conversation, belonging versus becoming. It's a question on our minds. It's a question that we got from the field. People are asking, which one matters? Do I have to first belong to become? Can I become without belonging? Should I force myself to belong? Do you think forcing belonging can affect my becoming? So in the field, as we moved, as we listened to different stories, as we listen to different realities, these questions really tickled us as Rights for Uganda, and we said we can't bury this conversation of belonging versus becoming. That is why we are here today.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So to kick off the conversation, let's begin with belonging. Belonging is a thing that we do from the very first day we arrive on this world, through attachment. And this means that we belong to a certain family, we belong to a certain, group of people, class of people, because, we get all this from our parents, because they're the people that we have found here. So we belong to a certain tribe, we belong to a certain clan. If let's say your tribe has clans, we belong to a certain, community, certain class, certain group of people. Like, there is always like a place where you are placed. There's a place that gives you an identity from the first day you reach this world. And that is the very beginning of our belonging. So this belonging is part of Maslow's needs, okay, or hierarchy of needs that human beings need in this life. And it is the third. It is called belonging, or love and belonging. So studies suggest that children who grow up in places where they do not feel they belong, they do not feel they are attached to anyone, or even those that grow up in families that neglect them, they tend to have higher tendencies of depression, anxiety as they grow up, because there is a way belonging and love nurtures and cherishes everyone. Yeah. So that is basically what studies show, and this belonging is very important for everyone. You'll find that you yourself cannot identify just as a single person. You will say, my name is Martha Nakato, this is where I studied. With the way my name is, that means I belong to a certain tribe. With the way my name is, meaning I'm a cluster of a twin. So there is, like, it even says more about my belonging than religion. I can even a religion, because Martha, a culture, because it'd be like a Christian, and then the culture comes in, because then you'd be like Nakato, that should be a Muganda, or even Basoga give this name. So you already, even when I just tell you my name, you already attach me, you give me an identity that belongs, basically somewhere. So it's a very, very important part of our bodies, for sure, and our lives. And really, it is an ongoing process, because it does not just stop on, okay, this is where I belong and that's it. As we grow and go on, you belong and unbelong. But how is it ongoing? Always? It's because in some places where you do not belong, you will always strive that you belong somewhere else. So if you unbelong, let's say, in this society, you will always strive to find places where you always belong. This is just human nature. That today, if at all they chased Martha away from home, or they chased Martha away from a certain school, she will strive to belong to, let's say, a certain other school, a certain other community, because of those things that always pull us to be loved, to be cherished in a place where we go to. And really, it goes even beyond just a want of like a physical nature, but it is a want that also entails biology in it. Because this belonging is affiliated to a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin. And when you belong, it releases this, it gives you this calm, because it releases this hormone that makes you feel calm, relaxed. That is why when you're in places where you feel free with people, discussions come in. You might even get a personality where you overtalk and people have never known you for overtalking. But this is because this hormone is released and it makes you feel calm. It makes you feel like you can now associate with other people. It makes you feel understood, in such a way. Yeah, basically that is, the beginning of becoming and these conversations. So when we look at belonging, it's basically being in a place where you feel more loved, more cherished, more valued. You know, that is basically where belonging is. And some of the things that make up belonging are shared values, shared interests, shared goals, the things that, you know, you feel connect you with, you know, this group of people. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. I didn't want to stop. Our viewers, I'm Winfred Mugambwa. I am an eco-feminist. You said, it really caught my attention when you said we belong.
Yeah.
And you took us through how we belong without choice in the first place.
Yeah.
There is no choice that I would choose to come into this world as who and who. So our belonging starts from somewhere, not from our choice.
Yeah.
And then you said to belong, and along the way we unbelong. We can unbelong.
Yeah.
Yes. And it ran into my mind, so belong and belong and then belong.
Yeah.
Yes. How can someone unbelong? And when does someone know that this is the time for me to unbelong? And is it healthy for someone to unbelong?
Okay.
Yeah.
You remind me of some questions I've not really answered.
It's about just getting to that statement you made.
Yeah.
We belong, we unbelong, and then belong.
Yeah.
So after belonging, how can I unbelong? Is it healthy for me to unbelong? Is it okay for me to unbelong? And when I unbelong, do I have to search for the belonging, or automatically the belonging comes back to me? Like how at first it wasn't a choice.
Okay. So let's begin that with this. In the world where we live, and when it comes to the circle of interest, or even the things that you have like in your control, the circle of control, actually not the circle of interest, but the circle of control, you will never force anyone to love you or want you. You cannot impose it on anyone. So that is why I pick it from, that you can unbelong and belong. So in case you like get a place, and you know this is a place that you feel you have belonged to for quite a very long, you know, period of time, but conflict, let's say, happens, because conflict happens everywhere.
Yeah.
And let's say on a very bad day, this one is not resolvable. And, you know, because of course, maybe people are not willing to listen to you, people are not willing to take this part of you, people are not willing to, you know, take you in with probably the new reality that they have learned about you. What do? You leave.
Yeah.
Because this is now not a place where you share a value with this person. This is not a place where you are welcome anymore. Yeah. And this is not a place, it has changed from belonging to a place where, you know, you now do not feel safe anymore. Yeah, you have to detach. And really detaching really hurts, because, you know, attachment comes with very many things. And, you know, it goes away from just the emotional bit of, you know, when I'm with this person, I really feel fulfilled, I really feel loved. It contributes to your biology, like I told you, all the hormones that are released when you're, you know, happy, when you feel more relaxed, when you feel more loved. So when it comes away from a place where you felt loved, and it has changed its face, you need to leave. Because then it is now moving you into another thing, which is the stress. Because it's no longer giving off the love. So when it stresses you, then it's bringing on the feeling of, I am unwanted, I am not as good anymore as, you know, people thought for me to be. And in such conditions, people even get physically hurt. So why wait to be physically hurt? In some circumstances, read the room, if this is a place that, and you see, our instincts really tell us a lot, and we do not listen sometimes. There is always that uneasy feeling when you do not belong, because energies really do not lie. So there is that gut feeling that we all have if we do not belong, like, to a certain space. We feel it. We feel like because of a certain way someone has, not welcomed me, or this and this, or this is how I knew how, welcome is, and it has not really been done in this space. Then you need to take a step back. So when it becomes, stressing, then it's going to negatively impact on you rather than positively impact on you, which the belonging has been doing. So it will bring in the stress, and when it is elongated, it will bring in the depression, it will bring in the anxiety, it will bring in, all these other burnouts, the isolation, the loneliness. Even when you are in a very large group of people, you can still be lonely.
You can feel the loneliness.
Yes, you can feel the loneliness. And loneliness is one of the most it's one of the most escalating mental health issues. It has been attributed to like in 10 people you find 5 people screen positive for loneliness in this current time.
And it's a conversation that is not so.
Yeah.
Because one of the things we found, and this was so much attributed to the youth. Many are now addicts of drugs. Many have buried themselves into alcohol because of the loneliness. It was something mentioned. It gives them either to sleep. Some of them told us, I feel lonely to the extent that when I take weed, when I smoke, when I take, there's that thing they told us, they sniff, I feel that pain within me goes away. You get? And now I get it when you talk about the pain of loneliness.
Yes.
When I relate it to the conversations I had from most of the youth.
Yeah. So in every condition, there is a coping mechanism, because of course our body is engineered.
Smoking, drug use, alcohol is just a coping mechanism.
Yes, but a negative coping mechanism. Yes.
So we have negative coping mechanism
and positive coping mechanisms. Okay. On that point, yes. So to go back into have I lost that train of thought? To go back to the loneliness, our bodies always strive to ensure that we get better. That is why when you are stressed, there is a hormone called cortisol that is released to come and make you more vigilant, to come and make you more alert. Remember the fight-flight response that was taught to us? So that hormone is released to alert you and make you aware of, if in case someone comes in and they're not the people that you think should come in at the moment, you need to look for space to run.
But that's why you feel like, remind us about that mechanism. Some of us, we don't remember it. Wow, this conversation is really taking me back the journey in the field. I am walking back, and as you're talking, it's like I am like listening again to those stories, the lived realities different people are going through. And when you talked about the flight, the fight, flight, freeze mode, I was like, some of us have forgotten. Is it the science, the biology? I might even confuse and say history when it's wrong. And I want to take you back there. Just remind us, because it will help us. Many of us maybe are in denial. Maybe some of us, because when you're talking, I'm going back. Some of the stories are ringing in my head, and in my head, I'm like, it seems for years, many of us are caught up in situation we have remained in situation, in environment that have silenced us unknowingly. To us, we don't know that we are being either, we are going through a phase, and maybe our bodies are fighting. Because even when we are talking, you showed us that our bodies communicate, and many times we don't listen to our bodies. And still, maybe we don't know about that mode, the fight, flight mode. We don't know that now we are in this mode and our bodies are communicating because maybe we are fighting. So help us take us back there. We need to unlearn and relearn. Yeah, the audience need to know. Take us back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so when I talked about that, I was talking about cortisol. So when you are stressed or when you get into a situation that is really uncomfortable, what happens is naturally your body releases, because these signals play on our nervous system when it gets uncomfortable. So when they play, it stimulates the release of cortisol, which is supposed to make you more vigilant. So when this cortisol comes into our bodies, it is supposed to alert you. It is supposed to, let you know that you have someone following you because of your heightened like hearing, or you have begun looking around and you're seeing, this person seems trustworthy, this person, like it's supposed to like open that particular part of your senses to like really heighten them. So those are just the three responses that you can do when you get into an uncomfortable situation. Naturally, our bodies, when something happens, you will either want to run, or when you feel like you can manage to fight off this person, you'll fight them off, or you might freeze and not do anything because your muscles have tensed up. It just depends on basically how your body responds to stress in the moment. Yeah. But most of the times, some of us freeze for so long. Yeah. We freeze for so long and stay in, places where we do not belong, or we have been pushed out of belonging for a very long time, because still of the fear of uncertainty, the fear of, at least there is this place that, doesn't want me anymore, but I can still live with it. I can still live with, unbelonging. Yet, we could actually find other places, but also there's a general fear of what if I do not find the place? Also our mind, when we are faced with a certain situation, it picks up on negativity faster than it will pick up on positivity. That is why when something happens to you, you'll be like, oh no, it was meant to happen. Like we have been conditioned that if we expect worse, then when worse comes, because we expect worse all the time, then we shall feel like, yeah, we knew it. And therefore, it will not hurt us as more as when we expected things to be positive. And that is like a certain conditioning that has really happened in our mind. Like when you lose something, you feel more prone to be like, yes, it was meant to be like that. Like, yeah, maybe it was going to cause me an issue. Because that is how we have been conditioned, that when we expect worse, it hurts less than when we expect the best and the worst happens. Yeah. So sort of like that. So that fear has also been like engraved in us. It has been, baptized on us. And some of the times we grow up in fear. We grow up when our parents tell us, if you sit on these things, you will not give birth. So they even teach us behavior through fear. They condition us to that fear is what will put us in line in everything. So we pick up on fear all the time. And therefore, it forces us to be in spaces even when we do not belong, even when our bodies have fought and told us. And how have our bodies told us? Most of the times when you do not belong, when you reach a space, you will feel, we all have that gut feeling that will tell us, this is not your place. Because still of how, probably people have treated you the first time you have come in, or probably because of the tension, just abruptly you feel you're so tense. And energies really do not lie. So when you enter this space, you feel so tense, you know that there's a challenge here. Your body is communicating something. When you feel, the mental drain, every time you think about going to this space, you feel, do I really have to go? You have to really contemplate it for a long time. It's time for you to think, is this space for me? It's time for you to reflect. Is this space where I'm going? Am I welcome? And when you are not, it's not the end of the world. You can still look for places that nurture you. You can still look for places where you have common interests or common goals with other people. Or you can even look for places that just fulfill you, places where you feel your energies are hyped up, places where you feel, you're more valued. And this goes really a long way to, very many things, because sometimes we might belong here. We belong in very many spaces. So if it is church and you do not belong to this church, try another church. If you do not belong, let's say, to a certain spot, try another spot or try another team. So many of the times, twesiba ku kintu kimu because we just fear. But there are very many places that we could, go to and still belong.
You just maybe you can guide us. What if, because one thing you told us is our first belonging is not about choice.
Yeah.
We belong because we were
naturally. You are born there.
Yes. What if it is family that I no longer feel that I no longer belong there? Can I unbelong?
We have seen people leave their parents and families and all that, and go and start up elsewhere. Yeah, and go start a life, because you are 20-year-old, you are a 30-year-old, and family is no longer welcoming you. What will you do?
Because one of the issues, it was strongly out there. Very many youth are now addictive. They are taking a lot of alcohol. They are taking a lot of. They are now so much addicted to drugs. They like sniff, and their main problem is family. They are no longer welcome to the family. They no longer belong. And these are people they've grown up with. These are people they've called family from the start. They don't know where to start from. And it is something that is eating up our society. We talk to very many different persons, women, youth. But it was a common thing now in the youth. And that is something you need to enlighten more to the youth.
Okay.
If I unbelong, if I'm a youth and maybe I'm in a family and I feel I no longer belong there, or the family feels I am no longer part of them, when I unbelong, do I have to still run to the alcohol, the drugs? Will they help me? Or can I even become that I was meant to become if I no longer belong to this family? Do you think I will, after unbelonging, belong to another family? That journey of belonging and belonging to those youth out there and to the different families.
Okay.
What? Yeah.
To begin with, center of control. Let me first go back to the center of control. And this is one of the things you cannot control is how people treat you. You can be a very amazing human being. You can do everything for the community. You can even be down to earth. You can be anything, but you never force someone to love you if they don't love you. You can never force anyone to like you if they do not like you. And it begins with understanding that if they do not love me, then for me, what is in my center of control? Because this is a thing that has two circles, one inside and one outside. So this is out of your control. And this is in your control. And what is outside here is people who love you. They're out of your control. How people treat you, it's out of your control. Because you will not go and say, you're supposed to love me. What do you mean? It's out of your control whether people love you or not. Even if it's your family, even if it's your mother who gave birth to you, you did not even decide on that. And you do not have any control whether they love you or not. But what is in your control? How you behave, how you treat
towards their actions.
Yes. or even just on a normal day, how you behave, how you take yourself, how you carry yourself as a person, what you know, your plans of tomorrow, you have your control. The way you cope, you have control. That is why, you know, when you choose alcohol, you have chosen it. It's in your control to choose, but also it's also in your control to not choose alcohol, but rather sit into it and reflect and be like, okay, so what do I have to do? What step do I have to take forward? That is in your control. So most of the times when we do not belong, because it affects our mental health in a way that it brings us stress, then when it also takes us into the depression, it also affects our overall decision making and the way we, you know, have to think about things in our minds or things that take us in front. You'll find that most people that are depressed do not have the resilience. Bamanyi bakomye baweddeyo. And at the end of the day, they contemplate suicide, which is a very bad thing and terrible. But it makes you feel like your life is done, and you cannot get you do not have the mental brain to actually, or the mental capacity to actually think forward, because it has already affected your motivation. So when that stress is in our mind and the cortisol is released, and it keeps us alert for a very long time, it keeps you just on the roller coaster of, you know, things that are here, so you do not have focus. So it does not give you the capacity to think and be like, okay, I'm going to plan like this for tomorrow, I'm going to do this and do that and do that. And some people have reached that extent. So you see that from belonging, when it is affected, or when that tie is no longer there with other people, this is how it goes on to affect you, to the extent that you cannot even plan for tomorrow. You just be like, I'm going to live day by day as it comes.
So belonging directly affects becoming.
Yes.
Yes.
So much. It really does affect it so much.
And our actions also determine our becoming.
Yes, because it's the coping. It's the coping at the end of the day. That's where you pick your actions from. Yeah. And when you belong somewhere, and this is something I want to say, that we have all unbelonged and belonged somewhere, for sure. That let me just begin from the bare minimum. We are no longer all in our first relationships, but that is where we belong. That is where, and really the whole of this world runs on relationships. Even the belonging we are talking about is a relationship that you're creating with either this one person or very many people,
so
or even your family.
When you talk about we are not in our first relationship, someone should not focus on that marriage relationship. You're saying you just look at the relationship.
not really that, but I'm just bringing it like it's the easiest thing we can really relate with. That we're no longer in our first relationships, but we belong there. So when the relationship broke up, or when we got issues, we let that go, and we are like, okay, we're going to move on with our lives, until when we probably got another person and we belonged to them. You understand? Not really belonging that this is mine, or bringing the power issue, but where there is love, where there is, you know, cherishing and all that, there is belonging. That is why when, you know, you can be stressed, and when the person that you love comes into a certain environment, there is that calm that comes into your mind, because where there is love, there is belonging. So I just bring it into like
it's a good example that everyone can relate to. And that gets me to, because when you speak about belonging, I am now getting to attachment and detaching. But I want to appreciate funders for this project, advancing agency and leadership for structurally silenced persons in ecofeminist, climate just and sustainable livelihood. And we can't live sustainably, or we can't achieve the agenda for this project unless we belong. Unless we are ready to become. Yes. And Diaconia, we want to thank you so much for helping us walk this journey of healing, for helping us structurally silenced persons have conversations like such. Because these are conversations sometimes we ignore, maybe because we feel maybe we are not supposed to belong. Maybe that is the normality. There is a way we have normalized situations, good or bad, because we've been there for a long time. So for us for you to support us to heal, to belong, to become, is something we need to appreciate. And that gets me to what I was telling you. It means that when we belong, there is a way automatically we get attached. And when we get attached, the best thing, if our bodies are communicating that this is not a right environment for us, we need to detach. And detaching is not something
Easy.
easy. We've seen people go through violence, intimate partner violence. People are being physically beaten or battered, but they are still attached to those people because they feel they belong there. Yes. Can you tell us some of the things that get people to get attached? And in situations where people no longer belong or they need to get away from such an environment, how can they detach? How, as a psychologist, what advice can you give us to help us detach from situations, from people, from environment that we feel we have been belonging for a long time, but still feel we no longer belong, that we have failed to take a step to unbelong and become?
Okay. Oh, interesting. So most of the times, these things get us from when we are young. So like there's really a lot of childhood trauma there, because you do not just wake up one morning and say, this person is beating me and I cannot leave them. It comes from how they brought us up. When let's say a parent used to beat you, did you leave home? No.
Because they are parents.
So it becomes like engraved in us. It's a conditioning that regardless of whether they beat me, and even some parents be like, I beat you because I love you. So that is, begins to like be engraved in us. Like it's something that we grow up with, and therefore when we reach our relationships, even when we are mature and we very well see that this is not my mother to beat me, there's still this conditioning that does not just go out, because you lived in it like for how long? Like 20 years. When do people leave home? 20 years or something. And even some parents still beat their children even at 20 years or something like that, as long as you're still like in their home. So it's really a lot to do with how they first raise us, at home.
So layers are built.
Yes,
layers are built.
a lot. And then when we are old, since when they beat us, it has already affected our self-esteem. We get this person also that will tell us, I give you everything. So they are also at some point treating you the way you are treated at home.
And you feel
because it is your parent that used to give you everything, and therefore you move into a relationship where, and I'm talking about really that worst case scenario, not that everyone lives on this on this inconsistency, but you move into a relationship where this is the person that also takes care of you. They have your money, they are the ones that take you for shopping, and you do not have a say. Why also your say or your ability to speak was also affected by the fear that they put in you when they were raising you up. Fear your elders, fear people who, give you everything. They have sacrificed everything for you. So you grow up in that way that when someone gives me money or puts food on my plate, I'm not supposed to talk to them, to talk back at them. You see them as now your second parents.
Savior.
And your savior. So you fear that, what if I talk to them about how they treated me and they leave me? And I'll be on the streets, and therefore I'll not have money, I'll not have sustenance. So no, Guma.
Okay.
and they beat you and you stay in that relationship. Well, belonging stopped a long time ago, but you're now looking at, can I sustain myself without this person? And also you're looking at, no, bazadde baffe nabo baaguma nange nsobola okuguma as long as this person loves me. And most of the times when they love us, when they beat us, they reinforce us with gifts at the end of the day. After beating, you understand, eh? Because this is what also the cycle of violence looks like. Yeah, they beat you. You contemplate like a whole fight, then they beat you, then they apologize with sweets, and then they wait on another time when you annoy them, and this is basically what happens.
So also violence has a vicious cycle.
Yes. So remember but remember the most deadly part of that cycle is the reinforcement or the gifts they give at the end of the day, because these blind the eye, because they bring in the other feeling of, oh wow, I'm loved. Okay, they did something wrong, but I am loved. So they bring in that release of the hormone of calmness, love, belonging. So then you settle and calm down. And you wait on another time when they put you on this whole roller coaster. So that is the major reason as to why some people get stuck in these places where they do not belong. Apart from what I talked about, the fear of just living, the unknown, and the fear of whether they will be able to just sustain themselves away from this group that they have known for like all their life. But what I want to say is really, you can belong anywhere as long as you find the people you can identify with, even if it is just one person. Yes, you find your tribe. Even if it's just one person, you can begin your belonging from there. Yeah.
So how can one detach?
How can one detach? It's of course a journey. Every wound has phases in which they heal, for sure. But one of the beginning things of detachment is self-worth.
Knowing yourself.
You regaining your self-worth. You regaining that confidence. You first understanding yourself and that you're human and that you're worthy. Because most of the times what people have done to damage mostly is our self-esteem, is our self-worth. Because we do not believe we are beautiful until when someone tells us we are. We do not believe we can do it, we can make it until when someone else says we are. So we need to work on those internal wounds that were caused by people when we were growing up and all those things. The bullying we got from some schools, we need to first heal from them. Otherwise, they affect every other. Yes, they also affect our belonging. Because sometimes you might actually find that you have failed to just solve a simple conflict in this community where you belong because of an internal wound. You don't know how to do conflict management. That in a place where it requires you to just say, I am sorry, I am going to, reform in this and this way, when it is solvable for sure, and you feel this is what you need to do. Because you do not know how to solve this, then you're like, I rather leave. So you detach yourself early when you could have actually resolved a conflict. But also in some places, this community probably has a leverage on you, and therefore you fear that if I go, won't they, say something about me? Won't they do this about me? Won't they, speak all these ill things about me that they know well the community, around you does not know and will damage? So there are quite a lot of things. But one of the things is first understand your self-worth, gain back your confidence. Come, let's work on it. If you cannot do it on your own, have people, or have a person that you can, talk to, because community is really important. But the first thing is community begins with you. So do some internal work. And that involves also like seeking out care or seeking out support. All these things. Yeah.
So what I'm getting is first we need to have self-awareness.
Yeah.
We need to listen to our bodies because our bodies speak. But again, even as we listen to our bodies, as we have that self-awareness, we must have our self-worth.
Yeah.
Because when you have self-worth, it will give you, it will help you determine or decide something.
Yes.
Because you know your worth.
It will also determine your belonging.
It also determines my belonging.
Yes. Because belonging is you move to those places that make you feel fulfilled. You cannot understand how fulfilled you are before you know yourself. If someone comes in here and you're like, and this is your very first reaction when I come in, I'll take you with a pinch of salt, because your reaction has already communicated to me that I'm unwelcome. You understand? So when I know myself, I know best to say I might not come back here in a long time because of the way I was treated. I do not deserve to be treated like that in this space. You understand that? Yeah. So that self-worth determines where you belong also and where you do not belong. So when you look at places that you have chosen to belong to, look out, do they fulfill this part of me? Do they bring out my, yes, do they put my neck high, or do they bend it low? So if you get that, you'll understand to pick places that bring out that best of you, and that is where you choose to belong. So it directly affects also where you belong. Otherwise, if you are someone that has internalized this stigma, you will take any shit from anyone, because also your self-worth is at that level where so I can, you understand, because it is low, it affects how you belong. Even in some spaces, you'll be the one, booty leaking, sorry, you'll be the one allowing people to step over you, because this is how you've set yourself to be this low.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. So we are hurting, we are wounded. Some of our wounds, we have stayed in some places and we have let ourselves be wounded because we are not aware of ourselves.
Yeah,
we are not listening to our bodies. Yet we want to become. Yet we are dreaming. And for everyone out there who is dreaming needs to know that they want to become.
Yeah.
Because when we dream, there's that element or something we want to become. But as we walk the journey to become that we want to become, where we belong affects us so much.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Yeah, because even when you belong to, like, let's say a group that just calls you to just burn your money, take alcohol, and do all these other sorts of things, you're still belonging. And what you're becoming is exactly what this group is. Too bad. So it's all becoming, it's all belonging, but it does not, enrich you at the end of the day, because what you're becoming is a financially unstable person. You're becoming a person that drinks every day, and it also gives you an identity. Remember, you're becoming a drunkard, so it gives you a name on yourself. So it really, really affects so much. Where you belong really affects what you become.
Can you say something about, because we overdwelled on belonging?
Yeah.
As a psychologist, can you say something about becoming?
Okay. So becoming is also like a consistent thing. Yeah. But one of the things I must say is dream first. Dream about yourself first. What do you want to become? Before we even move into where you belong and all that, first, again,
Dream.
A lot of internal work of dreaming and envisioning yourself. When we were growing up, and I still have these conversations with my babies, I ask them, what do you want to become? Do we ask ourselves that question? So we grew up when we wanted to become lawyers, when we wanted to become, doctors and all that. And we see that has changed at the end of the day because of still, where we have belonged and our continuous realization of ourselves. Because as Martha, at the end of the day, I got to realize, okay, through school, I'm not good at, some subjects. So what I wanted to become was affected, by that. But even right now, I am still wanting to become something, and I still need to do a lot of like internal work on, if I want to become this, what do I need to do? If I see myself here in 5 years, what do I need to, do? even away from just any other groups that I, belong to. I only bring them in when I feel like, because I belong to this group, there is someone I can talk to who can probably lead me to where I want to become. There is someone I can still commune with and have a discussion on this and this. I can still talk to this person and invite them like in a certain space, and we have these conversations. So all that really affects how we become, but it must begin with the internal work that we do on ourselves. Otherwise, you are going to be like driven everywhere. When people say you can become this, you move. When people say you can become this, you move.
Can
if
I
you
still
have not
dream at 20? Can I still dream
yes,
at 30?
it has no age for sure.
Oh.
It has no age. You can still become anything that you want at any age.
At any age.
At any age for sure. Because as long as you have thought about it and put the measures that you need to take to become that which you want to become, for sure. Even if you are chased away from home, we have seen people who they have chased away from home and they've gotten sponsors and taken care of them. They've gotten degrees, they've gotten masters and still studied. Yeah, and they can tell you, I have no one to go back to as a mother and all this because they chased me away from home. But I studied and got everything that I can get. You can still really do anything. Yeah, what we need to break is the fear, the internalized fear, the fear of the unknown. Why do we always think it's going to be bad? Yeah, but let's just think about it critically, put the measures that you need, create community outside of even just this belonging. Create community. Community are those friends that we create. Can this person help me? And make it intentional. What can I learn from this person? What can I learn from the other person? How can they elevate me? And you will become everything that you want to become.
In all this we've discussed, do you think culture, religion has a part to play? Has it contributed a lot to this many people are going through?
Yes, it has contributed because culture and religion set standards, short of which you don't belong. Yeah, and really, tradition is really welcoming. Traditions welcome. But the most difficult part are those standards. To just live up to them in this era, to just be like, oh no, I'm going to get married and do this and this and do this and this, without the choice. So when you have the choice not to, then you sort of become an outcast, or you don't belong anymore because this is the way, things were scripted from then. This is what women are supposed to do. Short of which, if you do not do, then you are on your way to unbelonging.
So culture is good.
Yeah.
Culture is welcoming, but the set standards are the problems.
They make people either belong or unbelong. Because let's say if this is your culture and you're supposed to eat your firstborns, when you don't, you still belong.
We went there. In fact, there's one of the case we are handling, and this man is chasing this woman away from the home. But again, in that culture, it is the woman who works and develop a man. Yes, even when the land was for the man, it is women who I was surprised. I said, what? It is these women who it is the women who build the houses. It is the women who go to the gardens. These men wake up and then they have to just bring their fathers. They have these titles. But again, this man, I think, feels this woman is no longer their grade. And after all these years, this man wants the woman out of. But remember, the land is for this customary inheritance. So I can relate the culture, the standards they've put. And religion?
And religion, yes, religion, if it also plays like really a very big part. And it also, like, when you belong, there is like that emotional, they do the emotional bond so well. They're there for you. Sunday you go there and you feel, really nourished when it comes to, like, the what is it called? Your heart is really nourished and fulfilled, spiritually, but also still the standards. Yes,
still the standards.
The standards, short of which you don't belong.
Do you also feel
there are people that I know they have chased out of church? Yes. Because they have done this and that, chased out of church. There are those standards that are the problem, basically.
Do you also feel like policies in our countries, laws and policies,
yes,
at some extent contribute to belonging and unbelonging?
Yes,
contribute to becoming?
They do, because when it comes to there's some policies really that affect how someone will get healthcare at the hospital, and also when you go to the hospital, how you're treated, you understand, and all that is really belonging, because we're in these communities. But remember when I said that you can even live somewhere and you don't belong, but you sometimes really have no way out, because there's no way we can earn Ugandan ourselves. I mean, we are still Ugandan. So, you can still live in a, place that you feel, you do not belong, but, you're a person of that land. There's nothing much you can basically do. Yeah. The only thing you have to change is set your standards to see how you can basically live in that environment. For example, when you have some money, or when you create a community where you can be nourished and see how you can be empowered financially, economically, you can get your way away from some of these things, because sometimes when you have some money, you can actually afford a very good hospital that will not basically care, because all they do care about is the money that you have brought to them, and therefore they will give you a service because you have brought them money. Which might basically be different when you do not have the money, and therefore you have to go to, like, let's say, some hospital where services are just given on the mercy of this health provider and what they feel like that day. So really create a community where you can feel nourished, get some money, and afford some things, for sure. That way you can run away from some stigmatization, you can run away from some discrimination, because you've given some people some money. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is why it is healing and care is so central to this project. It is so central, because we know we can't attain sustainable livelihood unless we've healed, unless we are healthy. And also the SDGs talk about there's an SDG that focuses on health.
Yes.
And we want to thank you so much for the knowledge. We believe you will work. You will come back. You'll come back to us, because where you've talked about, advised us to be aware of ourselves, will also have direct us so much as we speak about anxiety, as we speak about burnout, as we speak about identity crisis, or identity, as we speak about more conversation around mental health. And we believe that you will come back. You'll find time for us. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really don't want even to stop this conversation, because you have spoke to me as a person, and you have spoke to very many people, because I was relating as you were speaking. I was so much relating to the very many stories we had across the country. I was so much relating to very many stories I've listened to, not only under this project, under our Will Recover project. We have listened to very many, and I was relating, and I feel there is need for more conversation around self-awareness, how we can walk that journey. And I think we need to have another conversation around walking back the journey of, because the layers. There is where you mentioned about layers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you need to help us understand those layers around childhood, from childhood.
Mm-hmm.
What are those different layers we are holding? Do we need, how we need to walk back the journey to unlearn our past,
Yeah.
unlearn, and I feel it is a journey we need to walk back,
Mm-hmm.
and then for us to unlearn, we need to first of all accept. First of all, accept that yes, there was a situation. Yes, this happened to us. But again, we need to live in the present.
Yeah.
So to detach from the past, to detach from everything that we feel we can't do without, but yet affects us. There's a journey we need to walk.
Yeah.
And I feel you need to take us through that journey. Are there some recommendations for us as we digest the very important and knowledge we've gotten, rich knowledge we've got from you? Are there some recommendation you're leaving for us? Recommendation you're leaving to our government? Recommendation you're leaving to cultural leaders? Because still, as we were doing the exercise, there was a section where people identified polar actors, and polar actors are more of cultural leaders, more of religious leaders. So what recommendation do you have for them? So that, because we need to become, we need to achieve a sustainable life. We need to achieve, even the government in National Development Plan, FONO, even the previous concluded one last year, they are so much concentrating on sustainable livelihood, sustainable energy, sustainable agriculture, sustainable infrastructure. There's sustainability in all government conversations, but we can't achieve anything sustainable if we don't integrate care, healing in it.
Yeah.
Any recommendations?
Okay, so to start with, us as people, healing is a very long journey. So let us not make healing the end goal.
So we don't rush. Let us not rush that.
No.
Since Martha has told us, tomorrow I am unbelonging. Tomorrow
it's not
I
even
am
possible.
belonging. Tomorrow I am becoming.
No, it's not really even possible. So healing is a long journey. Yeah. Do not rush yourself, but don't make it the end goal. Let the end goal be coping, learning, and learning. That is what enables you to live in the now. Because whenever you make healing the end goal, you're always going to live the trauma. Because you're trying to ensure that you force healing at the end. You must heal. No. Ensure
so
that
we should focus on care.
Cope.
Also, if we focus on care, this journey of healing will be smooth for us and easier.
Yeah, and ensure that your coping is positive in a way that it does not lead you into a constant roller coaster of behavior. You're not proud of yourself. Yeah. So it must be on things to do with things that nourish you, things that make you feel more fulfilled. Those are more positive. Anything that looks positive rather than what can lead you into addiction and any other, depression or suicide. Yeah, that should be the end goal. Then the other thing is we can always belong and unbelong. Belonging is not static. It's a lifelong thing. So do not burn calories on, a place that you feel you do not belong to anymore. It's okay to unbelong. It's okay that, I can try any other place. What we need more is the thought of positivity that, because still most of the times we have been told we are the problem, but we are not. Places Uganda every day. Yeah. Because still
so
energies do not lie. No.
that maybe I'm the problem.
No. This one Uganda like in a very million places.
Wow.
But that's because those were probably not your spaces. Or because you have your self-worth, this is not how you should be treated. You understand? Then the other thing is really understand yourself. Become self-aware. Make it your project. It's okay to understand yourself. It's okay to take time and just be like, okay, what do I look like in the mirror? So that when you move into a space and everyone is over like, hey, this one is looking like this, this is how you look like, and therefore you can speak for yourself in this perspective. Otherwise, people will damage your self-esteem, which will still push you to unbelonging, because you'll be like, I'll never ever go back to such spaces again. And yet these places are where a community is. But when your self-esteem is up, then you get to talk in these places and live in your space. Yeah. Until when it is you who feels like I can't tread here anymore. You understand? Because of course there are people with really bad manners because we grew up in different spaces. So, probably also not really bad manners, but this is how I know how to treat people because of how I grew up. But kindness should also be preached. Yeah. Regardless of, the spaces that we go to, be kind, because you do not know what the next person you are, meeting is going through or has gone through. You might re-traumatize them, and really, force them into the unbelonging, which, gives them a dire thing. Then, to religious leaders, still kindness. Let's preach kindness and real act kind. There are these standards that have been set by religion, by our cultural leaders and all that. But let's take this with a humanity to it. So if you banish someone, if you send them out of church, where do you want them to go? All of us do mistakes. The Bible also tells us we've run short of the glory of God, and we run short of the glory of God every day.
Yeah.
But He does not banish us. So let's preach and act the preaching for sure. Yeah, and to the government, let's take self-care seriously. It's the same government that came out in February and said mental health is a crisis in Uganda. It's one of the epidemics that are really happening in Uganda, for sure. Very many people have been diagnosed and all that, and even very many have not been diagnosed but are living in a very dire state. So let's take it serious. Let's take it intentionally. Let's decentralize to jewo just butabikayo kanti n'omuntu wayinza ogenda n'afuna this mental hospital, because it is see, but also the name itself, and like I have also gone to like some spaces and they feel like the name Butabika is traumatizing, and I wrote that sometime to like the commissioner, and they say it's the name of the village, but really if we can rethink it and also decentralize it, that muntu wagenda over, let's say, ku district, muntu wagenda to, let's say, any other in a community for sure where it's a stone throw away. Nti waliwo omuntu gwayinza okulaba nayogera naye even in the government hospitals. It's not like optional, because Ugandans, we can never take optional things seriously. But if it's really optional, we can just be like, no, it's optional. I can either do it or not. But let's say government hospitals, waberewo omuntu akola nga psychiatrist or psychologist akola ward visits. Nga a pregnant woman bwaba azadde tava mu ddwaliro nga tanalaba psychologist, because at the end of the day we know waliyo ki post-trauma, post-thing stress, postpartum depression and stress. So when I get to talk to this person, nengende wakanga mani, if I face any challenge, I can still talk to this person. And really very many things happen, in that moment, as a whole surge or a whole flow down of, all these hormones that have been, making you run, this pregnancy. So very many things happen really like that. And also, what tuba tufunye abantu abaze like on these district hospitals, which let's get people and, just have these conversations on mental health. Hey, ababaze mu line that day, at the end of the day, tubuze wali yagenda okulaba psychologist wali yingirako mu kali karoom oba wano omuntu nga amaze ofuna eddagala yingirako wali bakubuuzeeko.
Abantu bamanyi byabagagga.
Okitegeera nti byabagagga, yes.
You have to have money to see a psychologist, to see a therapist.
Yes.
For us, we know that we must have money, because that is how it has been designed here.
Yeah, but also Butabika is quite cheap. If you go to Butabika, there are some clients of mine that have really sent to Butabika, and now they're doing much better. They were depressed, they were having very a high level of anxiety. You can still go to Butabika and get those medication and take from home. Depending on your level of anxiety and depression and how long you've been in this situation. So umuntu yenna totya, like, don't fear to just come up and talk, like when you're having a very, bad day, don't fear to come and talk about it, because right now, when it has happened just like 1 day or 2 days, it can save you from, going into psychosis at the end of the day. Psychosis is kati omuntu gwe atuuse okweyambula bwe tugaa nti agudde dda lukale. Yeah, and really we are all just like one stress away from reaching psychosis. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to say, because there are very many things that we are going through, and this will happen not to sao. But too bad that mental health is not a thing.
Potential clients.
On a very good, on even a very normal day, anyone can be a client of Butabika at any normal day. Because this is even away from just, it's just even away from just being physically okay. You can be physically okay like this, and the next minute, because just one phone call has been rung at a wrong time or in a time where you're handling a lot. No vaco. But also it does not mean that
why you said we need to be kind.
Yes, but also it's not that for kaba vuddeko be bagende Butabika, no. You can even just be like this.
That is what we think,
otuse stating whatever you're experiencing has affected the normal running of your life. When it gets to a week, talk. Okay, I'm not saying like that's the minimum, but even on a 1 day you can have a conversation. But wekituuka mu week nga tokyasobola concentrating byokola tebigenda biki, have a conversation. Oleme kireka genda mu another week or another month or another year, so that
we pay attention to our body.
Yes.
Any changes, anything when you see that you've gone, you're isolating yourself. If you see that there's something now you're getting addicted to,
yes, dread kiba kitegeeza nti you're overthinking. No, but dreading is, do I have to go here? No, I don't need to go there. Like you're lagging about making decisions. You're lagging about going somewhere. Yeah, have a conversation, because
even
there is something.
Sometime when you've not done anything.
You're no longer sleeping very well. You have difficulties sleeping. You have difficulties eating, or you're eating a lot more than you should. Have conversations for sure. Yeah, because those will help you. Notandika okwemanya, this is what happened. I think this is affecting me in this way. Because all those things are conversations that we have in these rooms. Naye era kwemanya at the end of the day, self-awareness. Nti nali siri bwenti naye kati ndi bwenti. Sebaka bulungi, meaning I have an issue.
There is an issue.
There is something. So buli weemanya, naye bw'oba teweemanyi nti bwoti bwe weebaka, then it will be very difficult to know and track yourself. But also it's not something that we cannot do in the therapy room.
And cultural leaders, anything for them? Cultural
leaders, let's also, see mental health in our own cultural ways, because some people are more fulfilled mentally through culture. To practicing your culture, it's like a religion, it's like a spirituality thing. Basically do that, and we need to like decentralize it from just it being the abazungu. No, culturally does also have a key thing to play, because mental health issues do not sosola. They do not cherry pick on, you can go through it, you cannot. No, they really affect everyone. So yes, so how can we get it into our local languages? Tuberengo muntu tumugamba nti you're depressed, kino kyetegeeza, tugamba nti you're stressed, kino kyetegeeza. How can we listen to people more? How can we also, as local leaders, map out places where people can go to ngabafunye mental health issues, or when they need someone to talk to? How can we ensure that there is no case of domestic violence that goes unheard of from a psychologist.
Or even how can even cultural leaders pay attention to those standards they've put that are affecting and contributing to mental health issues in
Kati
their
omuntu omugobye
communities.
ogambye no, you do not belong to this society. How can we, you know, have redress systems like nti omuntu akoze ensobi tutegedde ensobi, but also still be kind, because ne womugoba, their name has not changed, they still belong to this culture. But it hurts really when it is your same culture that has, you know, pushed you away from them, you know. So then what? Erinnya lyammwe temulinzigyeko, you know, what do I, you know, become afterwards? You understand? When muba mulinzigyeko, it does not change my history. It only traumatizes me that, you know, munzigyemu, you know, and you've, you know, taken all these things away from me. So those redress systems, and also really being kind and human to like everyone, for sure.
So humanity is key in this conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
We really appreciate. We can't say that we've gotten enough from you, but at least you've filled our cups. You filled our cups. You're going to go and do a check. To add audience, we've all had, as we look at the invisible issues that we think affect our emotional and mental well-being. We need to also consider that there are very many invisible issues that contribute to the state of our mind, the state of our productivity, the state of our well-being, and for us to become, we must belong. And we should not fear, like how Nakata has told us, we should not fear to unbelong. It is a cycle. We belong because we didn't choose to belong. But we can unbelong. But again, as we unbelong, we must identify where we belong. Yes, because everyone has a tribe. There are people you can dance with. Find those people, the rhythm you can dance with, the people who have the same rhythm with you. Find that tribe. When we have these conversations about mental health, it is very central to us women. It is very central to youth, because already the environment, the culture, there is a way it makes women, there's that patriarchy things that already affects our mental health. When we go to religion, you have already talked it well. So women and youth and children affect us so much. And these days, when we talk about climate change, we've seen how here in Central Region, we see how people's business are being destroyed. Floods come, you don't know. You went home to sleep, wake up in the morning, you can't even access your shop. Even when you access, everything is destroyed. We've heard of landslides, we've heard of drought, we've heard of food insecurity and nutrition insecurity. We've heard of castle wrestling in the north, and all those are coming from our climate injustices, and that all overwhelms us. It comes back to us. When we talk about mental health and climate change, that is another discussion we'll call you on.
Many discussions.
Because so we want to thank you. Thank you for being a good audience.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The last one, because the audience will ask, why didn't she tell us where can we find her? As much as Right So I can link people to you, we want you to tell people. Even you can tell them your contact if you feel it is okay, but there's that thing I believe you need to tell the audience about you, for those ones who feel that they have been helped with your rich information and they really want. They might fear to reach through Right for her, and they want directly to reach through you, just directly to you.
Okay. Okay, so one thing I'm going to say is I cannot share my number, but I'll share my contact
Through Right for her.
through Right for her, and my email, because I don't know how far this will reach, but I'll share those details so that when they do want to reach out, you share my contact, so that it helps me also know who has it and who does not have it, because it's also security, for sure.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you so much. Right, Soha, you can reach out on our social media handles.
Yeah.
You can reach out to our website www.rightsohauganda. We are on Twitter, we are on Blue Sky, we are on LinkedIn, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on TikTok recently, and YouTube. And for anyone, in case you need any support around psychosocial support, around counseling, please don't die alone.
Yeah.
Don't keep silent. There's a lot of support out there. She has been supportive to very many women. Very many of our beneficiaries and members have gotten support from her.
Yeah.
Very many young children have gotten support from her. Very many students, because sometimes we think that it's about home, it's about community, and she's been very helpful. So reach out. Don't die alone. We can only be safe, we can only be sound, we can only be productive, we can only achieve our goals when we are healthy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Coffee with Winfred. See you next time as the conversations go on.
Yeah. And in a place where you cannot belong to anyone, you can belong to us.
Yes, you can belong to us. We are a family.
Yeah.
We welcome everyone.
Yeah.
And in case you have any question, you drop it in the comments. In case you need any support, you can drop it in the comments.
Yeah.
Very many people going through GBV. We shall share in the comments our link for the tool, because we have a tool. We do case documentation, case management, and then we refer people to different support as per the case. We shall drop the link in the comments. Don't fear to reach out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Peace out. Okay.
Yeah, they see that on as natural.
You also with naturalness. Coffee with Winfred. Right? There's that part where she said coffee with Winfred as the conversations go on. Okay. Okasembia instead
no,
of
wali abadda tusomesanga, we needed to
yes, to be serious.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. There's too much.
Okay, you balance, just be serious.
Now we have balance,
Then
meaning
again, you have to look like you're not in front of the camera. Just said you're serious, like as if
Nothing giving to be serious.
See, ayogedde kano kembadde ndowooza ka history first Friday. Thank you so much, Nakato.
You're welcome.
I think we shall be inviting you like every month.
That's okay. Me, I'm available. You can just tell me to love how we can have the conversations.
Then lastly, maybe we can, because we are ending the mental health month, can you just do something? Maybe just a second, you alone.
Okay. Having a mental health issue is not the end of your world. It's not the end of the day. It's not the end of anything for you. You can still take your medication. You can still seek support and get mechanisms that will get you better. You will be well.
yeah.
Bye.